Thank you very much for your kind introduction. By the way, should I use English or Korean? Huh? English? Okay, but there are lots of people in the behind of you, in the last corner. There are lots of our respective older peoples. I'm not sure whether they can understand. If I use English, is it okay? 한국말로 할까요? 영어로 할까요? 영어로 할까요? Okay, I will introduce by English, and then you can use some translator for the Koreans. Okay, my name is Minho from Kyungpook University. Actually, I belong to School of Electronics, especially my research is related to AI, especially for the deep learning. Today I'm going to talk about this topic, which is to analyze traditional Korean archives based on the AI, especially for deep learning. And then finally, we want to develop some digital archivium, which is mentioned by our previous speaker, okay? And this is application for AI, deep learning, to understand our old archives. In Korean environment, in the old time, we use Chinese character before the Korean character. Even we use Chinese character. Okay, here is let me show you the summary of my talks. The first, I will introduce about our research purpose, and then our research contents, and followed by some of the integration systems and the demo, if it is possible, to support it by Wi-Fi. Okay, the necessity of a research is, nowadays, there are lots of traditional records in Korean, and in Korean, each of family, they may have their ancestor archives. We have a lot of things. And then, most of them are written by the handwritten Chinese character. I think that I'm not sure whether you are much familiar with this handwritten Chinese character, how much is it difficult. It is very, very difficult. Sometimes it looks like a figure, but we can understand each of these characters, right? The problem is, here, there are few people to understand our old handwritten Chinese character. Maybe all of them are very old. If they are passed away, nobody learns, nobody can understand. Even we have lots of the contents from our ancestors, we cannot understand. That's big trouble, right? And there is also, when I see the other professors, which is Professor Kwon Hee Nam, who is the very expert in this area, when I visit his office, he takes lots of time to recognize each of his old Chinese character. And then, on the other hand, as you know that nowadays, deep learning-based AI is very, very popular in many, many engineering applications. It can outperform humans' ability, especially for the perception, especially visual perception, like recognizing objects, and then characters, and the faces. Sometimes it's used for speech recognition very well. Why don't you use this deep learning advanced technology to recognize those Chinese characters? It may be better than human, especially not the expected. For example, like the assistant peoples for the experts. And then also, there are several global efforts to develop this kind of AI application for understanding old archives, like the Google, like the Books project, something like this. Because of this, we try to apply our advanced deep learning method to understand our old archives, which is written by handwritten. Okay. Okay. Based on this, we try to automatically detect of each of these characters, like this. Like this. Sorry. There are lots of the archives here. Then we try to detect of each of the character after enhancing of these digital images, because most of these images are very old, means that the image is very deteriorated. It is sometimes just missing, and it is a lot of dirty, and then we need to improve the image enhancement at first. And then we try to automatically recognize each of the characters, and then finally we want to translate those text sentences into the Korean modern language to provide easy information to the common people. Okay. In the case, we will develop some of the digital archivium systems to take off all of this data as a database, and then all of this program is operated with the database to automatically detect enhancement and recognize and translate. We success this process. Okay, and finally, as I told you before that, we developed some traditional document understanding based on digital archivium. And in the case that it is difficult, it is impossible to do by our side only. The important thing is that convergence study or collaborative study is very important. We have a team by inviting some of the good Korean traditional document department of Hanmun, what is the all the characters Koreans. There are some university department, and then also the department of literature. They can provide lots of the data, and then department of the Korean old 한문학과. What is the English name? 한문학과. Anyway, Korean old the Chinese character department. The professor tried to recognize what is this character and what is this meaning, something like this. After that, those kinds of data is input to some of the database in a website, and we put our algorithm by connecting of this database and then deep learning server. Finally, we develop this kind of things. We call it digital archive, but it's very initial stage. We do not include much more information now. It is a very initial stage to start. Okay, and then let me show you how we can do this kind of things. At first, the deep learning needs lots of the training data. We should get those training data from with the help of the Department of Chinese Literature and the Department of Literature people. And then here is the, I'm sorry, this is Korean. We construct some of the database which include this kind of the letters. I don't know what is the meaning of this. Even for me that, even it's written by Korean, I don't understand. 자정집, I don't know what is that. And then some of the kind of the letters in the contract, or there are lots of diary too from our old ancestors. And then all of this period is about the 17th to 18th, 19th, 14th. Right? 14th? Oh, from the 17th to the 19th. And then initially, when we start this project, there are some database to try to recognize by the human side. They made a dictionary, the handwritten Chinese character dictionary. But number of class is 4,219. Each of these has different kind of meaning. And then each of data, lots of the imbalance problem in the data set. Some of the Chinese character is very often, but some of the Chinese character is very few. It is very difficult to learn those kind of imbalanced data set in a machine learning side. And then during this period, like a 2 years, 3 years project, we add more data. The number of class increased about 4,060 now, and each of data is dramatically improved. And like this kind of things. It is increase of the number of the imbalanced data. Okay, reduce the imbalanced data. And then also there is another project to understand this kind of the printed Chinese character, try to translate those printed Chinese character book, which is for like in the history book in our palace called 조선 왕조실록 or 성정원 일기, something like this. That is another big project. It is a little bit easy to recognize each of these characters because it is well written, very well written. It is very kind of formalized form. And then based on this data set, we try to train our deep learning model using this kind of data as initial kind of the pre-trained weight, to get the pre-trained weight. And then here is after getting the data set, one of my colleagues who is expert for the computer vision, he tried to enhance the papers at first. This is real capture. When we get the data like this, this is kind of a letter. There are lots of the kind of the state is not so good. And then after that, we try to detect each of these Chinese character. Okay, each of these Chinese character, and then we can recognize each of these character. even is a handwritten character, we try to recognize it as 해서체, this kind of well-written Chinese character. And after recognize each of these handwritten character, and then we can get this kind of sentences in order to. Also, we try to find what is the start point and what is the end point. Nowadays, start line and start point of the character and end point, we have some space. In all the Chinese characters, they do not have any space. It's very difficult. We try to detect which is the start point of the word in the sentences, which is the end of these sentences. Start and end detection is also very difficult in Chinese. Say again? Okay. And then finally, we success to find the start and end point in Chinese older characters and sentences. And then we can get that this is one sentences. And then finally, we can success to translate this kind of things. Translation to modern Korean Hangul. Okay, here is detailed process that original image is like this, image enhancement and detection. I don't want to mention about detailed algorithm in here. And then finally, we can detect each of these Chinese character. And then another difficulty is that this Chinese character, when we write it as handwritten Chinese character, it has different size, different space. Sometimes it is not like this line. Some people, if there are space, people try to write after this, and it is not enough for the paper space, they can write it here, again here. It means that the sequence is totally different. It is very, very difficult problems. After that, we can get this kind of data and then try to recognize what it is by deep learning too. Even detection is done by some other deep learning model like SSD, something like this. And then in the recognition of this handwritten Chinese character, what is the most difficult thing is that it is very high within class variability. Even in the same character, when even the same people write this same character, depending on his situation, emotion state, the written form is totally different. And then also it is very close between class separability, means that even it is different Chinese character, sometimes it looks very similar. Just a very small change gives a different kind of meaning. How we can do this problem in deep learning? We try to develop some new deep learning model which can maximize sensitivity for this within class problems. And then we try to reduce robustness. We try to reduce the within class variability by taking the robustness in a cost function deep learning. And then we try to maximize the sensitivity functions to discriminate these two different characters, even it is very similar forms. Based on this success of deep learning, we can develop our algorithm and apply it. We can success about nowadays the segmentation accuracy for each of Chinese character is 89%, close to 90%. It is very nice. And then also our Chinese character recognition performance, it is close to 78%, close to the 80%. Among the 10 characters, 8 characters can be correctly recognized. It's wonderful, right? It's very difficult problems. Okay. And then, after to recognize each of Chinese character, we need to translate it to Korean modern language. There are lots of advances in deep learning to make the translator between different languages, like the Chinese, English, French, English, English to Korean, something like this. We try to take those kinds of algorithm and improve those translator method to translate by all the Chinese character to current modern Korean Hangul. In the case, there are another difficulty. It means that there are lots of the name, the kind of the name, some like the people's name and the place name, and then some of the official kind of position name. It is totally different. It is not used in here. We try to make those kinds of each of named entity as a dictionary too. We need to find whether this character is some specific word or specific names, or specific place name, or specific kind of position name. Because we use different kinds of names. For example, like we don't use Wang here, king. Now we president. In all the time we use king, right? Now we use mayor. In all the time we do not use mayor. We may use some different word like I don't know what is that. Anyway, something like this. We need to make this kind of new named entity dictionary. And then after that, we try to make it as some digital library by taking all of the data into some of the database. And then here is the handwritten database. It needs to interface with the common users, and it should be connected with deep learning server to recognize, detect, and then translate everything. Okay, here his whole process. Our digital archiving platform includes the image reshaping, and then segmenting, and segmentation, and recognition, and sentence separation, translation, and then like the printing or display. That is our whole systems. Okay, here is demo. Then this is video. I will show you the video. I'm sorry, this is Korean, but here is the web page that if you take some of the file, then our algorithm try to detect each of these characters and then translate it. And then also we have an app. If you take a picture in your home, our model can try to give the final translate result in your phone. Or if you have a computer in your home, you can upload your file and you can return the translate sentences with 80% accuracy, something like this. Okay, did I have some time to show some real demo? I will show you some of the live demo. For example, like this. Here is, how can I move? Oops. Our site name is DILA, Dilla. Okay, you can see that this page. And you need to log in. I already log in. It means that you need to join for our website. Okay, there is some here. Then if you call that this is open translate, if you want to upload some file, so you can finding the files. I will have some of the file here. Here is original kind of file, like this. Then I will try to start, apply for translate. And it takes some times, and then you can get the final result. Here, this is original. All of our current data is sent to our server, and then this server show the original face, and then here is the recognize all of these characters segment, and then to translate it as the well-written Chinese form, and then this is translate for the kind of things. Maybe it is not exact, but you can catch up what kind of contents are there. Before that, it is just kind of code. Now you can understand what is their concern or what kind of context are they studying. This is the kind of our systems. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much.